Yeah, so the research began with that question of what is China's strategy? And then, of course, the next obvious question is, so how are they trying to put that into practice? How are they actually implementing this strategy? And so I tried to find real world examples. And one of the things that I came across that really surprised me was how the Royal Navy in the United Kingdom actually was purchasing smart cranes from a Chinese state-owned enterprise, actually from China's military-industrial complex, and using that to make its capital ships, its two newest aircraft carriers, the HMS Prince of Wales and HMS Queen Elizabeth. So I started to dig into that company. It turns out that that company, its parent organization, because it's a wholly owned subsidiary, has actually been blacklisted by the Pentagon for constructing artificial military facilities in the South China Sea, which have been militarized and used to harass American ships and aircraft and allies, as well as they're conducting freedom of passage operations. It turns out that same company actually has smart cranes that dominate every single major American container port. So the gantry cranes that we rely on for ship to shore, that critical infrastructure that's there that supplies our entire economy that we all rely on, and especially now during the pandemic, we've all come to realize how important and how vulnerable our supply chains are. It turns out that the cranes that are actually doing the work are part of China's military-industrial complex, and they're at all 14, in fact, more than that, at all of our major container ports and at container ports around the world. And so that's one of many examples that I give in the book of how China's putting its strategy into practice. And I think it's one of the reasons policymakers in democracies the world over feel overwhelmed. They feel increasingly helpless to push back because China's government has achieved such a remarkable degree of leverage over their economies